My name's Florentine. I am lead artist on Royal Revolt 2, and I have worked on the Royal Revolt franchise since the very, very beginning. We had some interesting prototypes lying around, one of which Royal Revolt 1 was born from. It was basically a knight running around with a little army. And we liked that concept so much that we kind of started building from there. So as you'll see, the hero character is still there, and he still has his army, only it's become a bit more wacky than just a bunch of soldiers and archers. An interesting challenge because it was the very first mobile game for all of us. So we had to switch gears a little bit and try a different art style as well. We started hand painting our assets, so that means that everything is completely custom made. There's no photos used or any normal tips or tricks that you would use. And that was really a challenge for the art team, but also super fun. So when we started trying out what worked there, we started with something very childish in the beginning, lots of bright colors, big shapes and things like that. And we sort of evolved to something with a bit more texture to it. So we looked at the big games. We looked at the Blizzard games like World of Warcraft. We looked at WildStar. They're brilliant and amazing, and there's so much to learn just by looking at what these guys have been doing. I personally also really love Ni no Kuni. It's a game that was developed together with Studio Ghibli in Japan, which is a film studio. They produce anime movies, and they have this amazing way of using colors, and it's very friendly without it just being, you know, a kiddie thing or very trashy or kitschy looking. Or they have a beautiful, beautiful style, and I sort of wanted to move into that direction. For Royal Revolt 2, we decided to evolve the art style a little bit more. There's more depth to it, it's a bit more mature. Our lead designer is very fond of saying with new features, make it epic. And what he meant back then was just add spikes everywhere and make it more for the big kids. And we kind of found our way around it, so it doesn't have to just have spikes and skulls and scary things, but that it's just visually more interesting looking than before. Royal Revolt started fairly small with a very limited scope. We could quite easily tell where the project was going, and we could really concept and stay within that little realm. But that's exactly the point. You start creating a world with its own set of rules, so certain color palettes, certain shapes, and our team was very small in the beginning, so we did a lot of the communication was very easy because it was a handful of people, and that was actually really great because we could develop something that was very consistent looking and looked like it was from one hand. And as the project has grown, this is of course more challenging. At some point you pull in more people, only natural. Your team during main development always grows, and communicating this is normally quite challenging. However, we have something that we call style guides or art bibles sometimes as well. For example, if you are creating a character, it goes down to quite a lot of detail where even you define what kind of shape their eyes have. But that's how you keep things consistent. And whenever someone new enters the project, we always walk them through this art bible, and so that they get a good grip on it. We work, in addition to our in-house team, we work quite a bit with people from the outside, externals, and they get this art bible as well. And this is the way that we can basically still produce assets outside that look just as good as what we would do. For creating new characters, we actually have two processes. One is quite specific. Design approaches the art team with a specific idea, a set of rules for how, for example, this unit has to function in the game. We talk quite thoroughly with design. We have meetings about their expectations, and then we basically go to the drawing board. We do sketches of what we think fits. For example, the monk, the design of exactly how it looks is not solid. We get quite a lot of creative freedom about the look, but it had to, for example, the monk had to have a melee attack and some sort of healing action going on. And within those bounds, we were quite free to design whatever we wanted. So that was quite fun. But still, so for the melee attack, we gave him a stumpy little staff. And for healing, actually, I don't know if anyone noticed, but he has this giant flask on his back, which is full of apple wine. That's something local from Frankfurt. And so he heals you with apple wine. So we try to, in our character designs, we try to keep them fresh that way. We try to either put something local in or something from other franchise that we maybe like. The other type of character, a good example for that, for example, is the blacksmith character. There was supposed to be a blacksmith for this part of the game that would craft items, but there was no other prompts given in the design brief. And so we really went to town, and in the end we came up with quite a typical blacksmith, quite a big bulky guy, but he has his little birdie companion. And the bird, if you maybe have seen his animations in the game, he can get quite annoying for the giant blacksmith. So we have fun with it that way. We try to be a bit off, a bit subversive. The character that I personally like the most is the fox pal, the tiny little fox pal. And when I created it, I had been begging design for pals, for a pet system, for ages. And because I love animals, and I got very excited with them saying, okay, try a couple, make us a few. And this one came out, and actually only when it passed through animation did it really get the personality. It's very bouncy and extremely cute, and it really elevated whatever work I had done. And so I fell completely in love. But the cool thing is, I think that we now have so many different characters in Royal Revolt that there's something there for everyone. I asked the team, like, oh, what's your favorite, and everyone named a different one. There's people who love the blacksmith and the bird. There's so many fans of the little granny with her stick and her little dance that she does. And so I think the diversity is what really gets to people. They can always find something, whether it's cute or cool or anything in between. Items are one of the places where the artists can go a little bit wild and we can go a little bit wacky. We actually introduced this not that long ago. We were a bit more serious about sticking to our theme before, but now we're like, why not shake it up? So we have this producer, the producer of the product, who loves pop culture references. He will at any point try to stick references in there, and he's crazy. So he very often comes up with very specific item ideas. My favorite one it's definitely the hammerhead shark. Yeah, I don't know. I love sharks, and the idea that you're walking around with a baby one and hitting people over the head is just great. Yeah, that's my favorite. Well, then that was it from my side for now. A huge big thank you to all of you guys out there. It's been amazing working as an artist on this project. The entire art team has so much fun every single day, and there's way more to come still, so keep watching.